Chairman, staying within the Verona District, agenda item 232-24, Hull Street Properties LLC, with a request for provisional use permit that would allow for a 24-hour operation of a restaurant with a drive-through on a parcel near the intersection of South Airport Drive and East Park Court. Planning Commission voted to recommend approval here. Mr. Seal.
Thank you again. This request is for a provisional use permit to allow for the 24-hour operation of a drive-through for a fast food restaurant on the east line of South Airport Drive. The site is zoned B2 business district, and the applicant has submitted a plan of development for the proposed restaurant that is currently under review. The applicant has submitted this conceptual plan for the fast food restaurant with the drive-through. In 2023, the Board of Supervisors approved for a provisional use permit to allow for 24-hour operation of a proposed 7-Eleven that is also located on the subject parcel. With this request, staff is recommending similar conditions to regulate the use, such as a security-grade fence, limiting the entrances to South Airport Drive, and sound control for outdoor speakers. Staff is also recommending a condition that the extended hours of operation are limited to the drive-through only based on feedback received during the community meeting. That community meeting, held on June 25th, was held at the Sandston Public Library. One resident did attend, and the topics of discussion included the interior hours of operation on the site, which at that time were for 24 hours as well. Subsequent to that, the staff did recommend conditions that would limit it to drive-through only, which were recommended by the Planning Commission at their meeting on July 11th, where they recommended approval of this item. And that concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to try and answer any questions you might have.
Colleagues, any questions? So this was the Royal Farm that was approved, and then Royal Farm pulled out. 7-Eleven is now the new convenience store that will be located there. And then this is the addition with the restaurant, and the 7-Eleven is 24 hours, and the Sheetz and Wawa, which is about a half a mile up the road, maybe a mile, 3/4 of a mile, are both 24 hour. So it makes sense, right?
Correct, Mr. Nelson. As shown on this zoning map, this is the outline of the plan of development that's under review or has been approved for the 7-Eleven on the rest of the parcel here. Wawa and Sheetz, as you noted, as well as another gas station, are located to the south on the other side of the interstate.
Another one down there too,
that do allow 24-hour operation. And then there are some uses along 9 Mile Road that also have 24-hour allowances in this area. And most of 9 Mile Road in that area is unconditional B3 that allows 24-hour operation by right.
Okay, so drive through 24 hours, the restaurant closes at midnight.
They would be limited to the other hours and
they would have to get a pup if they wanted to do more.
They would have to come back and amend this provisional use permit or request a new.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, questions? Hearing none, this is a public hearing. I'm assuming you're here to speak. Anyone else here to speak? This is a public hearing. All right, yes ma'am. Can you tell us?
Good evening.
Tell us your name and your address if you don't mind.
My name is Sandra Christian. I live at 1513 Farley Terrace, which is behind the Fairlawn Townhouses, if anybody know anything about Holland Springs area, which is right off of 9 Mile Road. I was reviewing this information today, and the only really concern that I have, and I appreciate y'all time with me, is that the hours. Now, I do not agree with everything else is 24 hours. Only the Wawa, the Sheetz, the 7-Eleven, the Hardee's that sits at the intersection of 9 Mile Road and Airport Drive closes up like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And of course the CVS right across is closed. Of course the 7-Eleven that's currently at the other corner at 9 Mile Road, that's open at 24 hours. But and also the Shell station that sits there, that's open at 24 hours. That's fine. But this is we're talking about a restaurant. So a restaurant, I would like for you to be able to reconsider letting the drive-through close at 12 and and maybe the inside close even at 12 or even 10 o'clock. Because one thing behind that is an old establishment. You have seniors, you have residential areas right behind that. You got Jennings Road, which is where Fair Oaks Elementary School sits. There are seniors that live in that area. And I understand through the documentation that you have noise control, but you have noise control from people in vehicles, if you know what I'm saying. So, my concern is really about the time. Everything else that you've written in here about the buffers and all, that's wonderful, but it's really the time. I can't see a restaurant being open till, you know, the drive-through all the way through to the next day and continuing on. I know that the football games, when they're let out for the football games, you know, the people come over to McDonald's and they'll get something to eat. But I doubt if they get anything to eat past 12 o'clock. So my concern is to, in order to help, sort of indirectly help the police department, because if they're not open, that means it's less likely for somebody to be in that area, even though the drive-through is open 24 hours, there might be people still hanging in the parking lot. So if you close that, you close it at the same time, or if you want to stagger the time, that's fine, but I would not want that drive-through to be open 24 hours. That's my concern, because I'm thinking about the area that we're in. It's a quiet neighborhood behind them. The school's right there, and I don't see where we, if you look at it, where it's located, it's not too much there. Okay, yes, ma'am. but that is my concern. So it's really the time. It's the time.
Okay.
But, give them that time. Just
All right.
stop it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? What about WebEx?
There's no one to speak to this item.
All right, Mr. Geiger, you represent the applicant. Do you want to speak to the request for 24-hour drive-through and anything else you want to, without dragging this on too long? Just, yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Jeff Geiger here on behalf of the applicant. Just like to take a moment to explain and address the concerns that were raised. As was mentioned by staff, the 7-Eleven will be operating 24 hours. We did hear from the community, we did hear from concerns about the restaurant portion being open 24 hours, so that request was removed. It is only the drive-through. And the reason is we'd like to serve those who are traveling on the interstate, provide a opportunity for folks to get a meal. But most importantly, we have a lot of traffic going up and down Airport Road to the airport. Our airport operates late, past 12 o'clock, and then we have travelers who are getting there early, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then our employees who travel the road at that late at night. And so we'd like to have them, give them the opportunity to stop in, get a biscuit, get a coffee, get a sandwich, and patron the food. To address the security concerns, as you know, we have to get a SEPTED. The police will work with us to design parameters and cameras to ensure safe operation of the drive-through during that period of time. With that request, that the board approve the pub requests, subject to the staff's conditions.
All right, thank you, sir. Seeing that there are no other persons, I think one of the biggest things that we considered was that specific thing. So the first request that came in was for not just the drive-through to be open, but the whole, the inside to be open too. So we did ask for the office, for the hours to be restricted to close at midnight, and hopefully that will decrease any loitering. And the biggest concern, well, not the concern, but the biggest consideration is the airport. So I know there are flights that leave out of Richmond at 5, 6, 7, persons that go to work early. And so there probably is some business, some legit business that'll come through for drive-through. So that's the reason we considered it. Any other questions or comments? If not, I move that we approve PUP dash 2024-101026 Hall Street Properties LLC with the recommended conditions listed in the staff report.
Second.
All right. Motion made by myself, second by everybody. in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. Manager.
Next, Mr.